What the haters talking about?
Damn. Order of protection.
What's up, family? Donald Trump said in an interview with the New York Times that he would have never appointed Attorney General Jeff Sessions had he known Jeff Sessions was going to recuse himself from the Russian investigation. He also called the decision very unfair to the president. This dude is delusional, talking in third person. Anyway, y'all check out an excerpt of the interview. Leave your comments and I'll come back with mine.
Sessions gets the job. Right after he gets the job, he recuses himself.
Was that a mistake?
Well, Sessions should have never recused himself. And if he was going to recuse himself, he should have told me before he took the job, and I would have picked somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
He gave you no heads up at all in any sense?
Zero.
Okay.
So Jeff Sessions takes the job, gets into the job, recuses himself. I then have, which frankly, I think is very unfair to the president. How do you take a job and then recuse yourself? If he would have recused himself before the job, I would have said, thanks, Jeff, but I can't, I'm not going to take you. It's extremely unfair, and that's a mild word, to the president. So he recuses himself. I then end up with a second man who's a deputy.
Mueller was looking at your finances or your family's finances unrelated to Russia. Is that a red line?
Would that be a breach of what his actual
I would say
charge
yes.
is?
Yeah, I would say yes. By the way, I would say, I mean, it's possible that it's condo or something. So, I sell a lot of condo units and somebody from Russia buys a condo, who knows? I don't make money from Russia. In fact, I put out a letter saying that I don't make, from one of the most highly respected law firms and accounting firms. I don't have buildings in Russia. They said I own buildings in Russia. I don't. They said I made money from Russia. No, it's not my thing. I don't do that. Over the years, I've looked at maybe doing a deal in Russia, but I never did one. Other than they held them as universe pension. They're 8, 9.
But if he was
She's sitting next to Putin and somebody else, and that's the way it is. So the meal is going through, and toward dessert, I went down just to say hello to Melania, and while I was there, I said hello to Putin. Really pleasantries, more than anything else. Was not a long conversation, but it was, could be 15 minutes. Just talked about things. It was very interesting. We talked about adoption.
You did?
Russian adoption, yeah. I've always found that interesting because, he ended that years ago. And I actually talked about Russian adoption with him, which is interesting because that was a part of the conversation that Don had with this meeting that I think, as I said, most other people, when they call up and they say, by the way, we have information on your opponent. I think most politicians, I was just with a lot of people, they said, who wouldn't have taken a meeting like that? I didn't look at it very closely, to be honest with you.
Okay.
I just heard there was an email requesting a meeting or something, requesting a meeting that they have information on Hillary Clinton. And I said, that's standard political stuff.
Did you know at the time that they had the meeting?
No, I didn't know anything about the meeting.
But you gave us...
It must have been a very unimportant meeting because I never even heard about it.
No one told you a word, nothing. I know we
Nobody
talked about
told
this in the plane a little bit, but nobody...
No, nobody told me. I didn't know that.
You know,
It was a very unimportant, sounded like a very unimportant meeting.
The day you clinched the nomination with New Jersey and California and the primaries and so forth, you give a speech that night saying you're going to give a speech about Hillary Clinton's corrupt dealings with Russia and other countries. And that comes just 3 hours after Don
Number
Jr.
one, I made
People wondered about the
many of
timing.
those speeches.
Yeah.
I'd go after her all the time.
So let me get this straight. Because Jeff Sessions actually did something that's required by law and ethically correct, Trump wishes he had never gave him the job. Says a lot about your president. Then again, there's all kinds of conflicts of interest going on with this administration. I guess Trump must think it's okay to use public trust for personal gain. Why would President Donald Trump care one way or another if Jeff Sessions recuses himself from the investigation? Unless he has something to hide. If he has nothing to hide, why would he care? If everything's cool, why would he care? Why would he be so passionate? I'll tell you why. Because he thought he had in Jeff Sessions a yes boy that was going to say yes to everything. Now, don't get me wrong. Jeff Sessions is a yes boy. But Trump wanted him to be his yes boy. Jeff Sessions is a yes boy for whatever makes sense for Jeff Sessions. However he can get ahead, that's what he's going to say yes to. That said, don't be trying to pat Jeff Sessions on the back as some type of morally correct dude. He's corrupt just like the rest of them. Jeff Sessions was only trying to save the skin on his own body. He was trying to make sure he didn't do anything to get himself thrown in jail. He was not trying to exhibit some type of moral excellence. It wasn't about ethics. He was trying to save his own skin, simply that. Dude said it's extremely unfair to the president. That's what Donald Trump said. He likes to speak of himself in third term, like third person. He's like, this is extremely unfair to the president. This dude is really, he got that narcissistic thing down pat. I remember when he was campaigning and he got his doctor to write up a note about his physical fitness. I suspect that was in an effort to cover his mental fitness, because something is wrong with dude. Trump proves time and time again that he's delusional. He lives in a world that's constructed for his own thoughts. It's this fantasy world. It's like whatever he says, whatever he can think of, that's what it is. He's a liar. He lies so often, he forgets which lies to tell. In fact, he lies and then lies to cover up lies. So he's busy. He's very busy. And the thing about politics is that every lie you tell, you're going to get caught in, because if you lie to cover up another lie, they have a timeline for every lie you tell. Like everything you say is going to be documented. So somebody's going to always be able to pull out the last lie that you told. So he said that the reason he wanted to get rid of Jeff Sessions is because Jeff Sessions recused himself. So it wasn't the fact that Jeff Sessions is a racist, wasn't the fact that he's a backwards thinker, wasn't the fact that he lied about his confirmation hearing. Well, not about his confirmation hearing, but he lied in his confirmation hearing about his dealings with Russian operatives. It wasn't the fact that he's just a rotten scoundrel. It was the fact that he would not cover for Trump. That's why he wishes he never had appointed him. He's not getting the cooperation, the homeboy hookup that he thought he would get. You're not getting that, it's my boy, that a boy. He ain't getting that a boy. So he got a problem with that. He's desperate, and he knows that eventually Mueller is going to find out something. So he's just doing everything he can to see how he can wiggle out of this Russian scandal. The Russian scandal ain't going nowhere though. It's real and everybody knows it. Even his followers know it. They know it, but they love his dirty draws so much, they just don't care what he does. They just gonna keep on going. They don't care how it go down. And the interviewer with those usual softball questions that they gave him need to get a good spanking, because that was not a good, that was, those questions, the questions were good questions, but there wasn't good follow-ups. His answers, I mean, there was not any good follow-ups to the answers. I mean, they should have went in on him, and that didn't happen. But that's how it is when you're dealing with corporate media. You're dealing with media that's bought and paid for. Then you're not going to get honesty. You're not going to get what some networks like to call, some corrupt networks like to call fair and balanced news. You're not going to get that. Trump is a well-documented pathological liar. I mean, it's easy to, you can, in fact, go on his Twitter right now. I'm sure he's telling a lie right now. He's telling a lie that everybody can recognize right now. Just go check him out real quick. He lie good, man. Well, he don't lie good. He lie a lot. He lie often. But he lies so much that some people actually believe him. Donnie, for God's sake, take your meds. Take your meds, man. No more talk.
What the haters talking about?
Order in Texas.